It's time for Stimon versus Richard, the most anticipated match of the group stage. I'm Sigma, and with me, it's Muffin.
Wah ha 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 ha, Sigma. I'm pretty excited for this one. I know that comes to a surprise to many of our viewers right now, but we're not joking. This one's probably has the potential to be a really close and insane race. Just looking at the standings here with the extra drama, every single person in this group stage plays 3 matches total. This means this is Richard's final match and Stimon's final match as well. So this one's going to be intense.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy. These guys are one of the clear 1-2 fights in the group stages. A lot of the groups, due to the way the seeding worked off the leaderboard, you can kind of wave your hands and say, okay, well, we can see who's winning this group. But in this one, it's very unclear. Stimon has a slightly better PB than Richard, but only by, a bit over a minute, as you can see here. They've both been working hard since the start of the tournament, and they've had some improvements. Richard PBing just yesterday, even. And I know he really wants to win this match.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Richard's progression too, leading up to the tournament, and he has absolutely been putting in a lot of work, as I'm sure Stimon has as well. And an interesting thing is Richard actually right now has a better best race time than Stimon. So in the past 2 matches, he's been able to close out a better time. So even though Stimon has a better PB, and in the tournament, it's not just about the PB as well. It's about what you can do on race day. And so we're going to see keyboard and mouse from Stimon, and Richard's going to be breaking out some of that hybrid action.
Yeah, most of the time Richard will be playing on controller, but he switches to keyboard mouse for certain tricks, certain sections, just because he prefers to do some things on KBM. It has advantages here and there, so he likes to get that.
Yeah, for sure. And as our runners are going to be starting very, very soon, most of our runners are going to be doing tricks. These are both very experienced runners and have been playing the game a lot. So we're going to see pretty close early game, most likely, barring a huge death in Blackroot Burrows, or maybe even unintentional level up in Glades. But besides utter catastrophe, we should see a pretty close race for the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and our runners are off, starting up in Glades here. So we're probably just going to see, a sync in the early game. I'm not predicting either of them are going to make any major mistakes leading up to wall jumps. So we'll hopefully get some quick lead changes going back and forth as we progress through this area. Probably only trading a couple seconds here and there, but that said, this early part of the game is very scary because if you do make a mistake and take a death, you don't have the energy to make safety saves, so you will lose a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure, especially because a big sequence break earlier on in the run requires you to have maximum energy and then expend all of your energy, so you can't take a safety save at a really crucial point with some really difficult and unforgiving movement. But now we have Sign, and so this is probably going to be the first little bit of difference because Stimon's on keyboard and mouse. He might be pacing using a scroll wheel, which makes it a little bit easier to pack in your shots more efficiently, whereas Richard is using the controller right now. So we'll see how our runners do going through these Ronkies.
Yeah, Richard is mashing out these shots here, but he has said that he has a hard time getting the no-stop Frankie fight, so Stimon taking maybe a 2-second lead early on here. Not a big deal. It can easily trade back, even just to RNG in the wall jump segment. Things players will be looking for is ideally when they go up this jump pad. Oh, actually, Richard maybe taking a bit of a slip there, gets a health drop early. So they were looking for a health drop to get synced up on the jump pad. Stimon didn't get it. It's only a 20% chance, so you really don't count on that. But yeah, Richard having a couple problems here and there, lost a little bit of time, but still nothing major. And there's Stimon's health drop now. So he does go up, I think that's 3 health, so he won't be able to damage boost down to the optimal 1 health for the Ghost Door efficiently. So Richard might be able to get back a second on that.
Yeah, so Stimon having a little bit of a cleaner beginning to this Glades portion. No problem, maybe just a little bit of nerves and adrenaline at the start of the race. But Stimon, with the 1 health, is going to be able to die instantaneously. And Richard, nice damage boost to get through the slime. If you get hit by the spikes there, it pulls you through instead of pushing you back. And let's see how Richard's health is. He has 2 health, but he's going to take a quick death from the fish in order to deal faster second damage instead of 2 ticks of poison water. And both of our runners are going to be opting for the 4th health in Glades. I like this decision.
Yeah, it's a good call. It only loses you about 3 seconds because you do need to collect 5 health to be able to finish the run with the route these runners are doing because of a long damage boost at the end. So it gives you a little bit of time invested now for a lot more safety, and then you don't have to pick up another health cell later. Although I do believe Richard will opt for 6 health at the end for safety, and Steinman is going to be playing with just 5.
Yeah, so Steinman, wow, okay, so Steinman took a little hit from the slime going to the map zone, so right now he's on 1 health. If he makes a tiny little slip up here, he could take a death, but no, nice nailing that jump, and oh yeah, his experience is a little bit low, but he's just going to level up on the way out.
Yeah, it looks like Richard will be getting his level up on the way down here. He grabs his flower, he does this huge level up explosion, and now his way is cleared for the way out. So we get close to the wall jump tree, and the spirit tree gives us a little bit of dialogue, the old Ori All Skills.
And Richard's usually like watching the stream with chat in order to type that out in all caps for us, but he's taking today to focus on the race because both of our runners, I think, right now understand just how insanely close this match could be, and are really important and bringing them momentum going into the bracket phase of the tournament as well, because this is their final one.
Yeah, I think that really, it speaks to how much Richard wants to focus on this race and how much he really wants to take this win. That he's not doing his typical, I'm going to hang out in Twitch chat and post memes during the run. He's not there, dudes.
Yeah.
We've got to cover him. We've got to post the memes for Richard. So I hope you guys have my back here.
Yeah, guys. And don't worry, we'll have some silly names, we'll have some silly memes and flavor for you going throughout. And as long as you guys help us through, I'm sure we'll be able to have a nice balanced diet of memes and commentary going through. It's good.
Right,
you gotta think about your health.
So we've got Steinman has the lead going into Blackroot here. Just basically, you know, the cleaner movement to wall jump, and I think Richard had like a couple hiccups going out of there, but yeah, he'll be first into Blackroot. Just gonna actually take a safety save here. I wonder if I think that was a mistake. I think he misclicked because he was already at 3 health. He didn't need that, and that takes 5 seconds of animation. So donating a little bit of time back, but he's still ahead going into Blackroot. He's gonna grab Magnet and be getting in there, whereas Richard does not save there, but of course he has 4 health. There's no reason that he would, and we'll see how these guys' Blackroots go.
Yeah, and seeing that our runners were only 8 seconds apart at wall jump tree, that save from Steinman just melted away a lot of those maybe tiny little missteps from Richard in the early glade section. So that's actually pretty big for Richard, who didn't save on the way pad. So working through Blackroot burrows can be a little bit of a tense, because if you take any unnecessary damage, you can take a little bit more. These spikes down here. Oh, Steinman takes a big fall, and no safety save means he is going to travel all the way back to the entrance to the arena. Richard is now in the lead.
That's what Richard really needed, but Steinman's still close on his heels, so we're going to have to see how this goes. Note, of course, mentioning that 8-second difference, the cycles in this area are 8 seconds long, so if anybody drops a platform cycle, which is easy to do if your movement's not, you know, nice and clean, you may miss platforms. So far looking good from Richard and looking good from Steinman on the second pass, but no, he falls into the spikes again! No. That's going to really hurt him here.
Wow, this is just so easy to happen, and maybe a little bit of nerves coming into play here, but these platforms are really difficult to jump on, and so Richard taking a pretty commanding lead in their early game. Just these time losses are not something Steinman was banking on, and Richard, I'm sure, is absolutely going to be enthused with that if he was watching the stream, but as well, just playing his game, being able to calm down and make less tiny little movement mishaps, and catch pretty good cycles coming through here so far, Sig.
Yeah, he's been on the optimal cycle, and I believe his manipulation was good, so he should be fine for the cycle in the last stream. Steinman now gets to his 100 experience orb, and I believe he did make a safety save up by that orb, so he'll still be at full energy here. There's the option to save again if he wants, but now he's progressing through Blackroot smoothly. Takes a quick hit there. He still has 1 health, though. Wow. Smokes.
Oh my goodness, he just barely gets out of the spike before taking the lethal damage. Yeah, look at that instant replay in the bottom left-hand corner. Like, you just get stuck down there if you don't jump at the proper time. You just keep infiniting yourself down there.
This is a big deal, too. Steinman did a reload, but because of his death, so this messes with how the platforms in Blackroot behave, and it hasn't been really thoroughly analyzed how Blackroot behaves after you've died. Some things change about the platforms, and that made his reload manipulation actually cause him to miss a cycle. So he lost 8 seconds. Well, now he's on 1 health. He has to dodge this slime. He can't take its experience because he needs to be set up for the next trick. He's almost passed it, but
wow.
as Richard's going to dash, we've really got to watch Stymon still on the
Okay,
left.
yeah,
Has to
watch
dodge
Stymon this
again.
last spike.
Okay.
All right, okay. I've actually died on that last slime spike shot there, of like falling down in the same situation. So nicely done, Stymon, taking a few unintentional deaths and getting thrown off by these weird cycles from those deaths. Just having the composure to get through that section with 1 health really showcases off just how well he's able to adapt to the situation he's been given. But Richard now going to be in the lead, heading to Frankie Walk first, takes a punch from the slime, so he just has to be a little bit more careful because he's only on 2 health when he arrives at the spike section, but I imagine he'll be fine.
Yeah, these spikes can be a little bit tricky to handle when you're on 2 health. The right side of them does 2 damage, the left side of them does 1. Richard should be easily comfortable intentionally hitting the 1 damage side of the spikes, but in a race, who knows what can happen. So this jump here, he takes only 1 damage, he uses the iframes to get over nice and clean, so he is nearing the end of his Frankie Walk. He's still in danger. Stymon's grabbing the dash tree, though. If Richard takes a death in this next section, which can happen very easily, then Stymon will be back in the lead, so let's watch Richard going through the death gauntlet.
All right, come on, Richard, you got this. So he's going to have to swim through this poison wire, and then he's going to kill this slime, then jump up the wall. Is he going to get under the Frankie? He does. He has an energy, so he can place the safety save. He does, right before Death Glide. Oh,
he misses!
Ooh. Dashing a little bit late there and catching the upper thing. Stalactite?
Some thingamabob? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Rock formation thingy.
I think that energy actually messed Richard up. Normally he's very, very good at that trick. He found that dash glide off of that crusher called the death glide to save a little bit of time, and he's very consistent at it, but maybe the race nerves are thinking, oh gosh, I gotta save, and then he saved, and he kind of had a weird timing jumping on that crusher. He did miss Grotto Cycle as well. He has to wait an extra, crush worth of these crushers, which is, as you might guess, 8 seconds long. So that gives Stymon some room to catch up. Let's watch Stymon's Death Gauntlet over on the left here. Is he going to go for Death Glide? No.
No, he decides not to. Getting clean through and under the Frankie, making it to the energy cell. This must be a huge sigh of relief from Stymon, who can just place a safety save now. Where he, yeah, we'll get that. Nicely done. Was struggling a little bit in the Blackroot Burrows, but now he's through, and now it's just going to be some nice movement as he heads to where Richard is now, which is double jump tree, and Richard's going to attempt some blind movement. So let's see where he ends up.
Well, I'm not seeing much of anything right now. But
Stymon!
Oh, Stymon got the cycle.
Yeah, so that's 8 seconds. Stymon just was able to catch up on Richard, and so closing a little bit of that gap is exactly what Stymon needs, that little bit of a confidence booster from him. And ooh, Richard takes 2 damage, but he has regrouped, so every time he's going to drop that save, that's going to get him 1 health back. So he's currently at 3 health, so no danger or imminent death from him so far, as he is going to do his attempts at Grotto Skip, which is a very precise jump sequence right here.
Yep, so on Richard's side of the screen on the right, he's going for the quick Grotto Skip using the side of the platform. He misses it once, he misses it twice, he grabs it on the 3rd try, so good job getting things back under control. Stymon's coming up quick though. He's on his double jump blind movement as well, and I think he had a bit of a cleaner pass into double jump, getting that Grotto Cycle, but oh, misses the wall. Turns around too quickly on his blind movement. He's going to have to make up a little bit of ground there.
Yeah, so if Stymon coming up to Grotto Skip himself is going to be able to get this first try, that's going to close a little bit of the distance, as Richard now is also going through a really complex movement section and gets up to Water Vein no problem. Nicely done from Richard.
Yep, well, a little bit of trouble with that menu for Richard, but he didn't change any of his options accidentally. That's what I'm always afraid of when I get lost in the menus. Let's watch Stymon's Grotto Skip. Very smooth.
Wow.
First try, very clean.
Yeah, and that catches him up a little bit up to Richard, as now he too also throwing on in some ninja jumps as well, which is an advanced movement technique, and Richard is too. Wow, both of these runners just showcasing off their mettle as they're coming.
If there are any stops left to be pulled out, we can be assured that these guys will have pulled them out by the end of the run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so here we go. Richard is now heading up, all the way up to get Thornfeld Swamp Teleporter and then head into Ginso Tree. He's going to take an intentional level up, and then hopefully he doesn't take any damage afterwards, because going into Ginso Tree with less health can always be really scary. But Stymon, not far behind. This is still a very, very close race, and in Ginso Tree, there's many, many really tight movement sections. And ooh, Stymon takes a little bit of damage there from the slime, but that's okay. He's still going to head up and make it.
I was a little scared there for a moment, because that dropping slime would have finished him off, but he avoids it, and he is going to grab the health from this flower and probably place another save relatively soon, probably before the Iceless spikes, and that will give him enough health to make all of the damage boosts he needs to do. Plus, he's going to level up, so he'll be fine shortly.
Yeah. And so this is like a sort of a nice section for the runners where they have like a lot of really high octane moments in the run, like Frankie Walk and then getting through Death Gauntlet. And now it's just sort of really nice double jump movement as you're heading through with certain tricks like this cutscene skip that Richard did in order to get into Ginso Tree a little bit quicker that aren't too mechanistically difficult. So just taking a sigh of relief before heading into Ginso Tree where there's a lot of really crucial movement elements.
Yeah, Stimon is making good time through the Ginso sections. Enter Ginso segment, rather. He had a couple flubs of his movement, but Richard had a couple flubs of his menuing, so I think the delta between them is going to remain fairly consistent. We were only 45 seconds apart at double jump, so we'll have to see how that goes as the race progresses. Richard moving through the scheme, gets a nice cycle there at the top, and he'll be progressing through to a kind of nice, as you're saying, relaxing little auto-scrolly section of the game where you just have to wait for a shooter to shoot for a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like on Richard's side, you were just seeing him activate double jump at some pretty, how do you say, like relaxing times, right? They're forgiving. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Like there's multiple different times you can actually activate double jump in order to get through that spiky area. And then this shot puzzle is really nice and relaxing. And then like immediately out of this, next Richard is going to have to be furiously mashing away as he's going to be taking down the Ginso mini boss. But he did actually a really good job on the Frankie fight at the beginning of the game after collecting signs. So I'm sure we're going to see a nice 5-cycle out of him.
Yep, 4 shots on the first cycle. I think that was 4 volleys. 1 shot might have missed on the second cycle, and he missed the volley on. So he's looking for a 6th cycle at best here at this point. I think he'll be comfortably able to get it though. So that's a fairly good mini boss. 5 or 6 is generally pretty acceptable. It is possible to 4-cycle that thing, but it's so incredibly hard.
Yeah, it's so insane, and there's like only a couple of people who go for it, and then like even then it's like you can't get it every single time unless you have quick flame. But yeah, so here we go. We have Stimon now is going to be going into the mini boss. If he's going to catch a 5-cycle, this will actually save him a little bit of time up on Richard to narrow that delta even further. But Richard now is going to be the first arrive at Bash Tree. Wow, and the dash glide, did he get it? No, not quite.
Ooh, Stimon actually took a hit from the spikes during the boss and got 2 despawns on him on the boss. He jumped too close to him, so 1 more hit will kill him, and he's lost a little bit of time on the spike. He was having a nice fight up until that first despawn, and then it kind of fell apart. He gets the kill, and that will probably be fairly similar in time to Richard's, maybe just a little bit slower, but yeah, Richard is not giving much of an opportunity for Stimon to catch up, and just playing well, but Stimon, you know, as well, playing well to not make the gap larger.
Yeah, I like this from Richard too. So with Bash, we can move around projectiles, and you can sort of preemptively set up your bash angle as the sprite is about to form on your screen. But that being said, Richard, not doing the fastest like 0.2 seconds right before releasing it, and instead just opting to wait a little bit to just line up and guarantee that these bash frames are ahead. He was really close to his PB on entering Ginso Tree, only a couple of seconds either way. But he's just making sure that he doesn't make any major mistakes, and this is exactly what he needs in order to hold on to the lead in this race.
Yeah, the nerves might be showing a little bit for Richard here, though, because he had a really slow key dupe at the top. You need to edge just barely into the spikes. Some people will try to fall into the spikes directly without landing on the platform, but he landed on the platform and then edged off slowly. Nice, quick ghost door getting the fast death on the spikes on the way up, though. Stimon coming up to his key dupe. We'll see if he can get... Oh my gosh, he's... Okay, whew.
Wow.
If he missed that double bash, he was dead and back to the bash tree, so I was very, very terrified there, but we'll watch Stimon's death to his key dupe in just a couple seconds here. How fast is this going to go? Let's see. Yeah, he's going to fall right into the spikes, he gets the dupe, so making up a little bit of time on that. But Richard's still holding the lead, and he's going on to his swamp entry.
Yeah, Stimon, like, really close behind still, and not increasing that delta by any means, and maybe taking a little bit of time away, chipping away that slowly, because this is only, like, 17 minutes into the race. We still have another, like, 17 minutes, well, hopefully only, like, 15 or 14, but, like, 17 minutes until this race is over, so he still has plenty of time, and if he's able to slowly chip away as Richard goes into some blind movement here, this is... not going to be over by long. Ooh, you saw that red flash on Richard's screen. That meant he took a little bit of damage. He's at 3 health, but that's okay. Still making over the frog. not going to opt for a safety save here. So if this frog falls into the poison water, it's going to have to be a reset for him. But yeah, he gets the frog over and at 1 health. So now is the easier part of the trick. He just has to bash this shot up, and then time when he jumps up, bashes and releases. Oh, that might be a little low.
Oh,
wow,
it
was
still worked.
Oh my goodness. Wow, Richard.
I thought that the shot was not going to hit, and then he was already bashing the frog, and the frog was going to die. But the frog actually had an extra hit point, so there was no need for me to be that scared.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes Stimon. I don't think he took damage in his blind move. He wants to make a safety save here, so he's going to spend the extra time to send the frog away. And now he's going to try to get his setup on frog entry? Sure.
Yeah,
frog
sure.
thing. And he's going to be going for a slightly faster, by about 1 second, double bash strat. He must hit... Oh, no, he misbaits the shot, so he's going to be losing some time with that. Gets a second shot, must hit this double bash. He does, and he will be through the swamp with that. Nice job.
Wow. Nice final double bash to follow along with that shot, so not having to climb up the wall as Richard at Stomp Tree and Stimon right behind. So we're going to see a little bit of a high five from our runners as Stimon passes through the key door to head to Stomp, and Richard is passing on his way out. Aw, yeah. But here we go. Richard now is just going to be doing some more manipulation with the frog, using bash to move him around. Giving him a few bruises on the face in order to get an ability cell. And this can be really tight and spooky. But yeah, nice. So Richard took a slower sort of jump up to the frog, but that just guaranteed that the frog was going to shoot at him and hold his position instead of running away. Because if you're too close to the frog, it'll actually start to run away, and it'll end up like walking off that platform to its death, and then you have to like do the entire thing over.
Yeah, that loses a lot of time. And now coming up, important cutscene skip for Richard here. He nails it. Doesn't see the Kuro cutscene. That would have been a big opportunity for Stimon to make up some ground. And now he's just going to have to be able to do that cutscene skip himself to not lose more time. So he'll be coming up to that shortly. Richard is grabbing 5 health now. He likes to do this so that he has a buffer of safety in Sorrow Pass. Grabbing extra health cells does not cost you too much time. We're seeing Stimon. Oh, that's no! Oh,
right, where's the save?
Oh, he has a save right there.
Okay.
All right. Whew. Man, I'm panicking.
Richard! Oh no, Richard falling down. That's okay. His save was at the 5th health cell that he just picked up, so going to be traveling back over the 5 energy. A little bit of mix-up simultaneous mix-up from both of our runners, so not too bad. And so the delta shouldn't really change too much on either way, but yeah, Stimon now coming up to Kuro cutscene skip. He needs to get this first try in order to match pace with Richard, and he does. Wow.
That was very nice. He was directly in the perfect position for it without edging in at all. He just walked right up to it. It's like, yeah, I got it. Very good Kuro cutscene skip. So he's flying through this section. He can, if he does this exit from this 5th energy cell cleaner than Richard, maybe he'll make up a little bit of time, but they both did take deaths. Oh god! Oh! Okay.
Dude, so walls in this game aren't flat. Alright, and that particular wall, it can be very difficult to actually get some sort of footing, so he just had a really nice recovery in order to... Oh, what is he doing? Is he...
He must be leaving the cell. This cell does not actually take that much time to get. I was not aware that he grabbed this one.
Me either.
It's a very infrequently used backup cell from some old routes, so I don't know what we're going to see with this out of Stimon, but interesting choice taking it. It only does take, in the order of 10 to 12 seconds to grab that, so it's definitely an option. I'm not sure what he's going to use it. Oh, wait. Has he misleveled something? Because he has 2 in the purple tree right now.
He must... Wait, no, 2 cutscene... Wait, yes?
Yeah, because you normally only have Magnet, right?
Yeah.
So he must have misleveled something somewhere. We didn't notice it. He was on top of it, though, so he says, okay, I'm an ability cell down. What's one to get? This one's fast. I'm going to do it. That's really good play from Stimon there. Very heads up.
Wow, nicely done from Stimon. Yeah, and so that, only a 10-second time loss there in order to be able to recuperate and be able to be on the same sort of ability leveling. So taking care of that problem early means he doesn't have to worry about it. And Richard picking up C-Dash a little bit earlier than is normal for the route that he's going to be taking. This is a nice little stylistic play that Richard likes route as he goes up for fast Stompless. So no safety save at the shot, so let's see if he's going to grab it. Alright, so that shot looked pretty good for an angle as he's using keyboard and mouse to direct the angle. Oh no!
He got it! What? I thought for sure he missed. He was just so fast on his movement over there with the damage boost that it looked to me like, oh yeah, the time for the shot's expired, there's no way, but he actually got it. And I know he had been... He was having trouble with that just before the race. Stimon's coming up on the same trick right now. His aim looks dead on to me. So, 50-50 chance it hits because I'm terrible at judging it. But here comes Stimon. Will he get it? Yes, he will.
Yeah, that was really spooky because he had a really high bash angle coming off of that spider shot, so he almost just like bonked himself into some damaging spikes. Yeah, look at the instant replay. But yeah, he's able to get through and be able to get the ability. So still, all the runners are just matching these hard tricks, pace for pace. First try Kuro cutscene skip, first try fast stompless, and Richard heading into Sorrow Bash. Let's see what he does with this two-bird method.
Yeah, a death here will put him back basically even with Stimon. Bird position looks good. Very, very nice. Very fast Sorrow Bash. We'll be grabbing the Stability Cell and then heading up through Sorrow. Optimally, the runners will not save in Sorrow, but I do believe, I think Richard will opt for a safety save before the top of Sorrow here.
Yeah, and Stimon gets in there too first try, so first try, Sorrow Bash, and Fast Stompless from both of our runners. This race is so intense, guys. Richard has had a tiny lead for a good portion of the run due to some early deaths from Stimon and Blackroot Burrows, but no major deaths from either of our runners to really sort of detriment and give a commanding lead to one runner one way or the other. This is as close as it looks, and we're moving into some of the most technical movement in the entire run.
This is totally insane. They've got to be maybe 15 seconds less even. They're on the same tree animation now. Holy smokes. This is like 10 seconds apart at most. Richard is heading out through these spikes with his save anywhere up. Stimon's going to be falling shortly.
Yeah, here we go. Richard also on controller. He has to be so careful not to accidentally level up an ability. Yeah, okay, so he's going to be able to get up for his Terror Break as Stimon is right behind him. Takes a little bit extra time. Stimon with a faster ability level up.
They die at the same time. They're floating together.
Wow!
Richard has to wait on the laser cycle. Stimon's ahead. He's higher in the shaft now. Stimon is taking the lead for the first time since the start of the game.
Unbelievable. What a play from Stimon, just having a little bit of cleaner and more bullets sort of going for these fast setups on these tricks. And that is what was allowing him to be able to claw back a little bit of a time throughout the entire run. My mind is just like exploding right now. This is just so insanely close. Both of our runners are synced at Sunstone and going to be skipping this cutscene together.
Okay, but here's the thing. Stimon's laser cycle is going to be tighter on the way out. He might be able to immediately stomp after he hits this platform. He might have to wait. Let's see. He immediately stomps and he lives, so that's very good. Richard should be able to do that as well. We'll see if he opts for safety. He will opt for safety. So Stimon getting a couple extra seconds there. But man, this part of the game, it's very easy to die. You have to move fast, and neither runner's going to want to save you.
Stimon with a death on the spikes trying to exit from Sorrow, and there's no safety save on the way down. So that being said, Stimon got sent all the way back up to Sunstone, and so Richard with a little bit of safer play is going to be able to get past that section and be the first to enter Misty Woods, as now he is going to be showing off some really awesome charge dash canceling in order to get the energy back and be able to continue to do some crazy moves.
Yep, Richard playing with the UI on here. He wants to see how much energy he has. He's bonking a little low on that rocket jump, so he opts not to charge dash over. He's got 2 energy. You could opt to place a save, or you could opt to just, say, I've got 5 health, I'll be fine. I'll dump this on an extra charge dash. Stimon's coming in as well. Really fast moving over that side, so he's making a little bit of time there, but he's down to 1 energy. He only has 4 health, so a little bit less safety than Richard, but the spikes do 3 damage here, so it should be fine. Stimon will be comfortable with 4 health in this area. Richard tearing out of the Atsu's Torch cutscene as Stimon comes into it. I don't know how many high fives these runners have exchanged, but their hands have got to be smarting by now.
Wow, look at this, Sigma. Richard has 2 energy, but opted not to place a safety save. No real good section.
Oh, God!
Oh, Richard, please! Alright, okay, he's going to make it to Climb Tree. But yeah, just not opting to place a safety save just meant that, you know what, I would have to walk on the ground for a little bit in order to place that safety save. Now it cost me a little bit of time, but now Richard could be the first to climb Tree, but Stimon with the big deaths is able to close a lot of the distance from just having a little bit of cleaner movement and faster actions getting to Climb Tree. So our runners are very, very close together.
Yeah, this is super, super nervous. They're just 1 tree animation apart. That's like 8 seconds, maybe 10. And they're going through the same sections of the game. Richard having good movement in and out of that keystone. Stimon going for the meteor kick. Doesn't get a great one, but that's still pretty fast. And Richard he has to climb this wall. Stimon gets the charge jump right up. He's right on his tail there. Richard did place a safety save there. I don't think Stimon is saved yet. They're both moving through. They both haven't taken any damage yet. Let's see how this Misty goes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is so crazy because if anybody takes any sort of Whittle Spikes, as Steinman now resyncs up and might be taking a slight lead here as he's heading over. Richard's going to place the safety save down as he's going to refill a bit of that energy from breaking this 2 energy crystal. Oh, he gets a slower energy crystal break, so he has to wait a little bit, and that's going to allow Steinman to eke ahead. But it's all going to come down to how quickly our runners are going to be able to take out the Misty mini boss. So let's see what happens on Steinman's side, followed by Richard in this next section.
Yep, here we go. If you can get these bosses down in 1 cycle, that's ideal. Steinman gets it. Nice. And Richard will be coming in shortly. Can he nail this kill? He's not going to stop to save first. He gets the first one, he gets the second one. So another quick 1 cycle from Richard there. Steinman's opening the door. Richard's 1 door behind him. This is absolutely insane how close this race is. 1 mistake is going to just give a huge lead to somebody at this point.
Yeah, it's so insane too, because upcoming here in the next following sections, there's multiple places that have just 1-hit KOs, and with saves that aren't really that close. So 10, 20 seconds can be a differential if any of our runners mess up any of the cycles on the re-entry into Blackroot Burrows. And Steinman probably not happy to re-enter this place after this spaghetti in early game, but let's see if he's going to be able to clean that up and have a really clean advanced movement for this second.
Yeah, both runners teleporting into Blackroot at the same time. Nice dash slide from Steinman over the slow zone. Gets the charge dash bash for that slime there, and he'll be heading up to set up his lever glitch here. Richard gets his dash glide in as well, and he's moving in. Steinman with a nice quick death there. He's heading down into this laser section. He's going to be aiming for something known as the Yoka cycle, where he tries to beat the bottom laser before it comes back. He sees it disappear, so very nice, very clean from him. Richard will have to be doing the same thing to not let the gap widen.
Yeah,
no!
Oh, Richard takes a little bit of a death here. That's going to set him all the way back up to the save, and this is what Steinman exactly needed to pad himself with going into Door Warp, which is going to be a 1-frame trick near the end of the run. And Richard also just having a little bit of a slow descent here in the end. Maybe a little bit of nerves getting to him, but here we go. He's going to be bashing up. Yeah, okay, so he's going to make it and be able to skip this cutscene and get to Grenade Tree. And both of our runners are going to be high-fiving as they pass over this slow zone.
Yet another high 5 on the slow zone, so Steinman's save is back at the Grenade Tree. If he takes a death, the lasers or the boulder on the way out here, then Richard will be in the lead, but Steinman taking it slow, doesn't do a crazy rock jump, does a very nice one up there to go fast. He's got to get through this boulder part. This can be a little scary if the boulder catches up to him, takes a hit. Should be okay. Yes, he's going to get over to the health cell. Richard's coming out of Grenade now. Steinman with a pretty significant lead in this last segment. There are a lot of tricks coming up, and I have no idea how this race is going to end.
Yeah, Richard having a little bit of trouble there getting out of Grenade Tree. And oh no, takes a death, and that's going to send him... Wow, oh, he rekindled at the
Sneaky little rekindle on that save as he was going by. That's really cool. I like doing that one because you don't actually lose the cycle.
Oh my god, Richard! Alright, Richard is going to be able to make it through. He had a really sketchy... Oh, look at this, Sigma! Richard doesn't have to pick up that health cell because he had the 5 health.
He's mousing his health. He's skipping it. He's telling us. He said before the race he's going 6 health, but he sees where Steinman is, and he says, "I will not go 6 health." He's going to try the swim with 5 because he says, "I can't give up any time anymore."
All right, so upcoming here, there's going to be a lot of difficult movement and a lot of difficult tricks. Steinman right now is at one of them, and this is Door Warp. This is a 1-frame trick, which means Steinman has 1/60th of a second to use a visual and/or audio cue in order to push a button on the keyboard. He gets it first try. Unbelievable. Steinman definitely getting through Door Warp first. That's going to give him a lot of momentum going into the final escape.
Yeah, Richard is going to need to get this door warp first try if he wants this chance. Steinman can close it out right here if he can get through the escape first try, but he cannot take any damage throughout this escape at all, or he will not be able to do the final swim through the poison water at the end. So the bird is scary, it's yelling at him, and he is going into his escape. So let's watch Steinman as Richard nails his door warp as well. So he is not giving up anything right now. Steinman must succeed this escape, where Richard is going to be taking the lead from him. Yeah,
and Steinman's been going full throttle through the final escape so far, as he is with the rest of his movement in the late game. And so we're going to see, oh, that was really close to taking us from the fire. And now this swimming section is really difficult with the 5 health. All right, he gets the bash off of the fish. So yeah, he gets through, but upcoming here is...
He's on Crow!
Oh, he died! Death! Richard is in the lead. No, they're tied. Richard just died as well.
What?
This is literally synced in the final escape, guys. Unbelievable.
They both stopped the thing together. Okay, so at the end of this escape, they have a 1-frame trick. This last grenade jump, which saves 35 seconds. They both must go for it.
Oh, both of them having to bash twice off the elemental shots. Richard taking a little slightly lead. He's going to be able to enter the swimming section slightly before StimOn. Oh my goodness, he goes immediately in.
Yeah,
He gets
good swim, good swim. Richard got the swim with 5 health.
Oh,
StimOn
dies in the swimming section. So Richard, now if Richard is able to nail grenade jump, this is going to pull off the victory. But he can soft lock here and have to start the final escape over, taking his time to wind it up. Fails the first grenade jump, but StimOn furiously working through the final escape to try and catch up. Richard gets it and doesn't soft lock. Unbelievable. It came down to the final escape. First try door works, and both people having synced deaths, and Richard just able to pull it out and finish the race. Unbelievable. I can't actually believe it, man. What a race.
That is actually, I think, oh my, StimOn got hit by a boulder again there. Oh my gosh, he's got to be really just so frustrated with how that ended there. But that is the most insane race of Ori I have ever watched. I cannot believe how close that was at the end.
Yeah, the early deaths in Blackroot Burrows from StimOn, and then just amounting to Richard being able to hold on to that lead all the way up to Sorrow Pass, where StimOn, with just a little bit of cleaner movement, was able to catch up through those mid-game and late-game sections, and StimOn just taking another death in the Poison Water section. This is just so brutal if you're only on 5 health. And nice, C-dashing through those molten boulders stops him from taking damage. So that was a really nice sort of adaptation from StimOn. But we're going to see him be able to complete through. And if he was watching the SRO race, he will have seen that Richard has finished. But GG to Richard with a overall time of 33:18.
Yeah, watch StimOn through this swim. He has only taken 4 damage, so he's through the swim now. Doesn't spawn Kuro this time. He should be able to get up and get to the finish here. He's going for his grenade jump. Let's see if he can nail it on the first try. He does. No soft lock. StimOn finishing out strong. He'll be holding right here. My mind is absolutely, completely blown. I cannot believe how good that was.
Yeah, that just happened, man. That just happened. Unbelievable. Well played from both of our runners, and it's important to note that our runners were both 2-0 going into this match, so Richard going to be finishing out with a clean 3-0 and StimOn finishing stage with a 2-1. Both of them are going to be heading up to the upper bracket, which means they have sort of a double elimination scenario for them. So both of them having that advantage going into the next stage, but Richard taking a little bit of a higher seed over StimOn because of this. Really amazing. I hope these guys end up meeting in the bracket phase as well. What a race.
And StimOn finishes up with a 34-39, which is, you know, over a minute behind Richard's time, but that does not really tell the story of this race. This was down to mere seconds or frames during the final escape there. StimOn with the lead, unfortunately getting that Kuro spawn, and Richard managing to get through, taking a quick death and then getting through his escape right after that, whereas StimOn had just a little bit of trouble with that 5 health swim. That's why people go for 5 health, or rather, why they go for 6 health. It's because that swim can get you if the fish are not in quite the right position. And oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's so hard to even do that when you're just sitting on your own and doing runs. Doing it in a tournament race where you know your opponent is right there with you and you have to get it. It's got to, wow. I just don't even know what to say. That's amazing.
Yeah, but that's okay, Sigma, because it looks like we're going to be bringing in both runners if both of them want to come in for an interview to talk about this. But it looks like Richard's in here now. We'll see if we can have somebody pull StimOn down as well to join us. But Richard, congratulations.
I can't believe, why did I watch that race? Covert. Why?
Oh no.
Oh my god. I was like, I enter the final escape, I'm like 10 seconds behind, I'm like freaking out. I literally can't breathe the entire escape.
Oh man, I cannot breathe.
Oh my god. StimOn, oh my god, I was watching the restream the entire match. Oh my god, tied at Sunstone.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
don't
and then
know
you
what
caught
happened.
up.
Okay, so StimOn, were you watching the restream is the first question.
Yeah, parts of it.
You were? So when did you turn it off? Did you turn it off or did you just
No,
check?
I didn't. I just watched it during the cutscenes and skill trees, you know.
Oh, wow. Okay, so did you know how close this race was heading into late game?
I knew that I was like 30 seconds behind almost all the time, but then I saw Misty. I wasn't sure who was ahead, but I knew it was really, really close even though I had like freaking bad death.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw the early game BRB, I was like, okay, this is gonna throw him off, and then you just kept gaining time on me, time and time again. I flubbed the 5th energy, and then I was like, oh, this is
Yeah,
over
so
for me.
let's actually break it down a little bit. So in the early game, Steinman, were you having some nerves going to Blackroot Burrows, or is that normal that you just don't go for like a safety save there because you're confident
Yeah,
with the move?
I
Or...
never do that, but yeah, nerves definitely got my hand, and I was shaking so hard. I just missed my ninja jumps, and that's why I fell.
Yeah, so coming out of that, were you able to just sort of like calm yourself down and then just like be able to focus more on the mechanics?
I tried. Once I got like God Cycle, or God Cycle, I mean, I was feeling better, but then I misclicked.
Right, right. Yeah, so Richard, in your early game, you were also kind of a little shaky on the Glades movement. Were you really nervous coming into this match?
I mean, I didn't actually feel that bad about like just going into the match. When I like messed up at the beginning of the game, I was like, oh man, I guess nerves are like a little bit more like
But you know, I was
impactful than I
surprised that
thought they
you
were.
weren't that far ahead, even though I died two times.
Your movement's just better than mine, like overall. Like that's why I took the 5th health. I took a safety save in the noob spikes because, like, even if I had 5 health because of your
couldn't
last
do that
match.
because I was like, man, I gotta come back, and no way I was gonna go for that safety save.
And you did. Like that was so insane.
Yeah, yeah. But at the escape, I was like, man, he's not done yet. Like, what's happening? And I just choked once, choked twice, choked thrice, and I was like, okay, that's done. I'm done.
Yeah, so a bit for our viewers, guys. So Steinman, you ended up picking up an extra ability cell in Spider Cove there
Yeah.
at the 4 energy door. Where did you end up accidentally spending that ability point?
It was a double jump tree. I misclicked,
Oh,
and I was like,
no.
the whole run, I was like, where can I get an ability cell? Just I was like, either I reroute my team, which
I
is
saw that
not
in
a
the
good
clip.
idea. I cannot reroute on the fly. So I was like, okay, what ability cells is not that far off? And
Wow.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah,
And
we didn't even notice that you had leveled that up until you were going to get that cell, and we were like, "What's the cell?" And we saw your save anywhere next. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so smart!" Because I think you actually picked the best backup. Like, if we knew
I
cell,
hope
I'm
so.
pretty sure that was the cell we would take.
I went through all of the possibilities, and I mean, I could have picked up HP on the way, but would have hacked up, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so coming in later into the game, the big tricks, you guys were just putting on a clinic with Kuro cutscene skip, Sorrow Bash, right? And then also Fast Stompless. Were you guys like, oh no, please don't let me mess this up, like coming into it, or were you just like cool as a cucumber and like full confidence and full steam ahead?
I was not super confident, like, as Covert and Sigma can attest to that. In my notes, I was like, I'm actually going to skip Fast Stompless or Grenade Jump if I was, like, ahead, but obviously I wasn't, so I was like, well, I guess I'm doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Turns out I was able to.
Yeah, same. Actually, I was just really frustrated that I was behind, and I said, okay, let's go. I just need to focus back, and once I'm focused, it's pretty good. Actually, I golded the feather split and this wall jump, charge jump split. My bad. So my sum of best is 30 now, like 30 flat.
Wow,
which is
nice.
quite amazing. But then,
insane.
yeah, I just hoped to get them first try because I wasn't that confident, but it turned out well.
Yeah, well, I don't want to keep you guys from watching that VOD back because that is definitely
must
worth a
be,
watch or 2 or 3. Because my gosh, that was an incredible race. I'm really looking forward to both you guys going into the bracket and the upper bracket. I want to see more games out of you guys because that, my gosh, that was exciting. And if you guys meet in the
Oh my
bracket,
God.
holy smokes, that's.
I just need to calm down. I mean, just facing Richard, I was like, okay, I gotta do well, otherwise he's gonna beat me. So I think nerves. I put too much pressure on me, and that's what threw me off, especially early game.
Well, I still think you
played,
put on
Simon.
a great performance. It's really hard to play through the nerves, and you know, especially the final escape when you're that close. It's like your heart must be beating a million beats a minute.
I actually don't know what
finished it out.
happened in the final escape. Like I just didn't see Richard finished, so I was like, "Oh, he might mess up. He might have messed up," but I didn't see an inch of it. So I'll
All right.
go back.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Thanks for putting on that amazing race. We
You're
are going to
welcome.
go to a short break here, but we've got more Ori action coming up right after this, so don't go anywhere.
Bye, guys.